The intention of this video is to demonstrate the procedures that I take to take a power adapter apart. What you can get out of this adapter is brass from the prongs, and inside will be a transformer with copper and steel. And there are various sizes and shapes and various kinds to take apart. For instance, this kind has screws in it that they have the shape of a inside of a triangle with, I guess a Y is the shape of them. I don't have a screwdriver for that, so I'm gonna have to hang on to this for a bit longer so I can figure out how to take it apart. So I've got 3 adapters here. Oops, there's another one with screws in it. Guess that's not gonna be one we take apart. I got 2, okay. I have 2 here though, that I'll be taking apart. And then everyone has their own way of doing this. When I first started working on these, I would take a snips and try to grab it at a certain location. Especially the squared ones, they were easy for me to just snip. But this being a rounded one, I can't snip it very well. And this one here is same situation. I can't grab it well enough and then snip it to try to break that seal open. I've seen a lot of other individuals with other equipment take hammers outside, banging on the ground or banging on an iron, a vise. And so what I've kind of learned how to do on my own, and like I said, we all do it a different way. I'm just going to show you my way that I do it. Is I've taken a saw meant for steel, found a groove, and just started making a hole. You have to kind of get into it, get used to it, and just kind of figure out what works best for you to get inside to get these pieces recycled. Was the piece working before I snapped the wires off? I don't know. I didn't have the devices that it went to. I'm not sure where I got this adapter from. I just know that it's time to take it apart and start recycling the pieces. So I find the grooves as best I can, make marks in them. And then yeah, I do take a chisel and a hammer to it. Once I get it cracked well enough. Get a nice hole. Can this be done another way? I'm sure it can be. For me though, this is more of a therapeutic time. It's a hobby that I enjoy. And with the family dead asleep, I'm up here banging away. But, and sometimes it moves around, or I didn't tighten it up hard enough, and I have to take it loose and tighten it again. This is the place that I choose to do this as well. The vise is on a card table. I've got it secured down with, what you call it thing. Eventually they'll break through. Should I have gloves on? Yes, I probably should. But we each, like I said, we each do things in our own way. And I've attempted several times using gloves, and my hands just don't want to use them. So I'd rather get injured and get repaired later, which is what's happened several times before in the past. Like I said, we all do it a different way. This is how I found to do this, and it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. It just takes time to get in. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's holes are coming. It's sort of cracking as it comes. Once you get it to be a good crack, you can try to set it up another way in your vise. Use force to break a piece off. We'll see if I could force this open. I might not be able to though. Force of the vise is actually working for me. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it was splitting the hole open a bit. And I just take my chisel in there and get it a little further off. And now it's open. And as you can see, this is the plastic piece that's no longer worth anything. So I put that in my plastic bin. Here's a transformer with the copper and the steel. In another video, I'll show how to take this off and to get the copper out of it. Is it worth it? Well, to me it is, because weighing this up alone by itself, I've got a little scale here set to ounces. That is exactly 2.5 ounces. And as a unit alone, this would be considered an engine. And in my yard, 2.5 ounces would be sold for 8 cents a pound. So 10 cents, roundabout. Taking it apart, I'll get the copper out of there. The steel will still go for 8 cents a pound. But the copper then will be going for whatever the current copper rate is with the ratios. Another video when I take these apart, I'll have a better understanding on that. Now to finish this piece off, we need to get the brass out. And again, I go back to the vise. Tighten it up as best I can. And then I use my snips, my wire snips. Vise is a bit too close. Once that's good and secure and you know it's not going to go anywhere, I take my wire snips and I just snap it out. Hopefully without bringing the plastic with it. I don't really want to have the plastic as a part of the brass, but I'll take the brass apart later down the road. Come on out. There we go. So here it is. Brass piece came out. I have a container where I put my brass. It's best when you're, oh, this one just came out on its own. I guess it came out when the other one came out. But it's best when you're micro scrapping like this to have locations for the pieces that come out. Where you're gonna put your plastic, which that one didn't make the jump. Where you're gonna put your transformers. Where you're gonna put your brass. And this is a different one. The seam is on this end, so I'm gonna have to really open this up. Slide it in as far as I can get it until the prongs are about to touch. So I can get most of it. When I go to whacking on this, I'm gonna want as much as that to be stable so it doesn't go anywhere. Like that. And like that. But can any of you tell me what I didn't do and I should have done prior to whacking it? You're paying attention to the first adapter. I might just be able to get this one broken using the vise. But in the first adapter, I actually used my saw to help make a hole. And this time around, I didn't do that. I just went ahead and got wrapped up in making a video and didn't think about what I was doing. Because it's late here and really no excuse for taking shortcuts. But now that I'm getting a good hole here, it will help my chisel dig deeper and actually get further into the adapter, which is the goal of trying to make a cut. If I had a workbench in my garage, that would be the ideal place, because I could go out there and really whack a mole pretty good and not have to worry about waking the family up. But I'm upstairs and they sleep downstairs, and so it's not going to be a problem today. Takes a little elbow grease. Let's see if I have enough of a hole in this to crack it without moving it. I think I heard it crack that time. Surprised my dog hasn't tried to come up here to see what I was doing. All right, it's starting to move, but I'm getting a good feel, so I wanted to finish that punch. And there you go. So just like the last time, I'll open this up as far as it'll go. Squeeze it back through. And as it squeezes, this top piece starts to get loose. So I'll stick my chisel in here, find that transformer, use it as a pivot point, and pull this piece off. Now, this one's got a little more in it than the last one did. It's actually got a circuit board in it. Try to get everything out really quick. And what you can't see on camera, I wouldn't imagine, is I am wearing safety glasses. It's a must need for this type of work. You don't want to get anything in your eyes. You must protect your eyes at all costs. Wow, this one's nice. Got a whole bunch of different pieces in it. Has aluminum, I believe. Yep, that's aluminum. It's sticking right there to the screw. But that piece there is aluminum. Transformers right here. That one's a bit smaller. You got this transformer here, and then you got that transformer there. I'm going to take this one apart, but this one I'm not going to take apart. It's too small for the time and the little bit of copper and that you'll get out of that. That I'll just throw into a bucket with other ones that size, because it's just not worth my time. I believe that also might be aluminum. Although that could be steel. Some of these have steel, some of them have aluminum in them. I'm not sure about that piece right there. I'll have to take that apart. This big piece here, this is aluminum. It's got stuff on the inside. If you take this off, you'd have to be able to sell it as dirty aluminum. I just leave it on the board. The board itself will go into my low-grade board box, which I'll sell it at a different yard that takes computer boards. I wish I had another transformer to take apart, and look at there, it's another adapter. You know, from the looks of it, it's got the saw marks on half of it, although I think this, because this was a square one, I had one time had tried to put my snips to it and cut it this way with pure force, and just couldn't do it. So I put it to the side until the day that I would have my vise set up on my table, and I'd have the proper tools that I need to get the job done, which I have now. So I will take this one apart and tighten it down well. I didn't finish this one, so I need to finish this one for y'all, but I'll do that in a few minutes. Let me get this one apart. So I'll stick it in that hole there. I'll give it another saw on this side. And you can hear the cracks. As you get through, you can start seeing a bunch of the cracks. And it feels like I'm through this one. Yeah, went all the way through on that side. I don't know if you can see that dark line there or not. And it's coming loose. So this is a time where it's almost there. What you need to do now is put it back in the vise, tighten it down, get your chisel, slip it in an empty hole like that. Start prying that box off. And there it goes. And this one as well has extra stuff in it. Got a little circuit board, and look at the size of that transformer there. All right, it's not coming out because it's wedged in very well, and the manufacturers put these things together. They put them together pretty well, and they wedge them in nice and tight. Right about now, using my hands, this would be the time when I would make a mistake and pinch myself, and or make a mistake and cut myself. I've done it enough times to know when to stop. We're going to try using force with the power of the vise and the chisel, coming back and forth. I have a feeling that it's wired down to the prongs, and that's what's keeping it from coming out of the bottom shell. And there it is. And like I said, prongs are hard coded right there on it. Not even wired to it, straight on there. So this whole contraption is one setup here. Again, you have the cylinder here with is dirty aluminum. I'll just leave it on the board. This is extra copper wire. I'm just leaving it on the board. I'll be taking the board off in a few minutes, show how to do that, and taking the prongs off as well. So let's get that taken care of. While I have the usage of the vise, the hammer, and the chisel, I go ahead and slip it right in there between the transformer and the circuit board. And with a couple whacks, it comes off like that. Flying across the room, but there it is. Circuit board's off. I put that with my circuit boards. And now we need to get the prongs off. Turn it upside down. Flip it around. Tighten it up. And this is where your wire snips come to play again. Once you get it good and tight, just take the wire snips, tighten them to it. Of course, you can use pliers too. I use what I have at handy right then and there. So, and just snip the wire. It's a copper wire that's connected to. You can see it. All right, that one came off. Put it in your copper bucket. Go to the next one. That one came off. Put it in your little bucket. And now this one's ready to break down. And like I said, I'll make another video where I'm actually taking the time to break these down. It does take time because putting it in the vise, I end up hammering with a chisel into the steel. There's pieces in the steel that come apart. This makes a letter E and slides out, and it slides out on both sides, the letter E, with individual single pieces. But that's another video for another time. Let me finish up what I was working on with getting these prongs out. So what I'll have to do here is snip these wires. All right, this board will go into the low-grade boards. I'll get more money if I leave the transformer on there on the low-grade boards. The low-grade boards are 3 cents a pound. If I take the engine off, I get 8 cents a pound for the engines. So, and plus I'll have to take the aluminum piece off as well. So I'll do that on another video when I'm taking items off boards. And this is technically called micro scrapping at this level, getting these individual pieces apart. I have other items in my arena here where I'm going to be taking them apart and showing you what's on the inside of the items. So, and what I didn't want to happen was the entire thing broke, and now I'm left with these two things. So try and try again. I like using the snips because I can grab on. All right, it didn't quite do what I wanted it to do. It's brought extra stuff with it. Take my snips and try to sever that connection. It's not going to work. You'll run into things like this as well, where it's like, how much time do I want to waste on this? Will the yard give me pure brass for this, or do I just continue and continue until it comes off? And look at there, it came right off. And now I can put that in with my brass. Going to the last one here. And it didn't want to give up the ghost. So we just give up and go to bed, right? No. Because at this point, it's testing me. Am I actually going to get it out? Or am I going to give up? I think I'm going to get it out. I'm going to get a piece of it out. I'm going to get enough of it out where it makes sense to put it in with my brass. And I think I won. Oh, here we go. So that one's now out. And just to see, not sticking to a magnet. Yes, it's a big magnet. Got it out of a microwave. Each microwave comes with 2 magnets like this. You have to be careful when you get them out though. And that could be another video as well because I have another unit that I need to take apart. So there's my brass. All right, that concludes tonight's videos. I took apart 3 transformers, took out the prongs, separated the transformers from the circuit boards, and I think that'll do it for this video. Thank you for watching.